This is Tim Rogers with Dodgers 2080. And today I have with me Steve Douglas again. We had him a couple weeks ago, and he is from, of course, Hot Stove Baseball. Please go visit his website early and often. He has a ton of content along with some of the content he brings to our site. So welcome, Steve, to
Hi.
what are we doing today? Center fielders.
Yeah, center fielders tonight.
Put me
Well, you
in.
better know. You're the maestro of this show here. So,
Oh, and funny thing, I just saw John Fogerty on Saturday night, and of course his main song is, well, as a solo artist, is Center Field, but
oh yeah,
go Creedence all the way, man. It's so good. Creedence
all of
Clearwater,
our
Ohio.
younger viewers are already lost. So,
Yeah, my wife actually really enjoyed it and has been listening and watching them all of a sudden, so it's cool. Yeah,
very nice.
so this is the fourth in our series. We've done catchers, third basemen, and shortstops. Now we're heading to the outfield. We have, I think it's 11 young men that we're going to talk about. Some of them are well known. Some of them have been in the organization quite a while, and some of them, highly ranked prospects, and some of them you may have never heard of. And that's part of the fun of this, is discovering these guys. We try to find content on them, so you don't have to. Let's see, our first guy, and I'm going to share my screen. And there he is.
4 teenagers on this list, Tim.
That's crazy.
This is not one of them.
Yeah, Drew Avans. We saw him, of course, with Rancho. He visited Rancho for what, a week
He was
or
there
two?
in 2019.
Yeah, for 36 games. He came and went. But he's been in the organization since 2018 now. And I don't know if you noticed this, Steve, but not only do they have batting, they also have a pitching tab for him, because he did get into a game last year. Yeah, and didn't give up any runs, but his whip was 2. So, but yeah, he used to pitch in college. He is a left-handed center fielder. He's 27 now. So, yeah, we actually covered him when we were talking about the Rule 5 a bit. But now we're going to talk about more of him as a center fielder. I don't know, Steve, you and I have probably seen him pretty equally. Do you have some thoughts on Drew off the top of your head?
Yeah. He's like an old school type prototypical leadoff hitter and center fielder. He's a gritty dude. In fact, I think our friend Casey Porter gave him an award for the grittiest in the minor leagues. I think the players actually voted on that. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah, I would totally agree with that, especially if the players are saying it.
I'm not surprised in any way that his teammates overwhelmingly chose him as the grittiest player in the organization, and I'm super excited that he was given this recognition. Here are the comments about Drew Avans from his teammates. Settle in, because there's a bunch of them. He shows up every day with the same mentality. Every pitch, every at-bat gets the same attention and focus. He doesn't care how the job gets done. He's just willing to get it done. Here's some more comments. Drew Avans is my choice. That's easy. He's a grinder, no doubt. More comments on Drew Avans. I don't know him all that well, but did okay with him my second year in Arizona. Drafted in the mid-30s, but is just one step away from the bigs, won't get outworked, and is just an all-around gamer. Doesn't have any overwhelming attributes besides his speed, but will play hard every single day. He's definitely a guy that you want to play with. More comments about Drew Avans. I would say Avans is probably on the top of my list. I noticed his grit and toughness when I played against him in college and playing with him this year. I could see the love he has for the game and how he just never takes a pitch off, and he's just a great guy to have on your team. More comments about Drew Avans. Drew plays hard and the right way every single night. More comments. It's Avans for sure, no doubt about it. More comments. The last comment about Drew Avans. It is Drew Avans, no doubt. The dude just shows up every day and he grinds. He doesn't complain, and you could always count on Drew. Congratulations to Drew Avans for being voted by his teammates to the All Dodgers Daily All Grit team.
I think he had a 49-game hitting streak to close out not last season in AAA, but 2022 in AAA. So this guy's found a lot of success. He actually led our list of 11 center fielders in, what was it, at-bats, 508, and then runs scored almost 100, and then also hits with 129.
Yeah, and
he's a good dude. He's 27. It's time to go. I mean,
yeah.
Hopefully he can get a spot in the Dodgers outfield this year, or yeah, I mean, it's go time. You know, I think he's a big league center fielder. He's a guy who can get on base for you. And I know new school, you know, you're trying to put maybe your best guy in the top of the order, but if you're looking at constructing a lineup, I think you can want a guy like Drew Avans leading things off for you.
You know, a comparison that I just kind of popped into my head as you were describing him, without the little bit of craziness, but Lenny Dykstra. You know,
yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah.
Lenny was a pretty good outfielder. He was scrappy,
Yes.
you know, gritty, got
Yep.
on base, did all those good things. But I'm looking
Stole
at this.
bases.
Yeah, Drew's been in
was pesky.
Yes.
You didn't want to. You don't want to face him with like the game on the line. I remember the Dodgers. Oh, what year was it? But anyways, the Phillies came back and it was like, oh man, 9 runs in the last like 2 innings or something. Anyways, but Lenny Dykstra was a thorn in the Dodgers side for many years, whether he was with the Mets or the Phillies.
Yeah, really, really good ball player. And you know, Drew's been, gosh, he's been at OKC the last 3 full seasons. Hey, yeah, he, you know, I can see, boy, you know, Ron Washington just took over the Angels. I could see something like that where Drew Avans would be, Ron Washington would love him.
It's so funny you say that, because when I was kind of preparing for this, that same kind of thought entered my mind. I was trying to think of where are some good matches for Drew Avans in the big leagues right now, and yeah, I thought of the Angels too.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Drew, gosh darn it, man.
And not because we're trading for Trout. I just want to make that clear. I don't think we're going to trade for Trout, okay? But, you know, whatever. But,
yeah,
you know,
1 in a million.
I hope I'm wrong, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, 1 in a million. So you say there's a chance. But yeah, so Drew, lefty all the way, 5'9", scrappy. He's gritty. He is old school, man. He would have been such a cool player in the 80s, 70s, Pete Rose-ish, all that, without the gambling. But yeah,
we just need a time machine.
Yeah, and for him, it's an opportunity, and he's got to get it either with the Dodgers or with another team. And you know, as we spoke about with the Rule 5 guys, we just want these guys to get an opportunity to grow their career. You know, there's so much talent in the Dodger system. So, any further thoughts on Drew?
Yeah, good dude. I've interviewed him for years now, and just a really humble, down-to-earth type guy. Super, super easy to root for. And I wish that more Dodger fans kind of had him on their scope and knew about, you know, what he could do. And I hope he gets a chance. If it's not in the Dodger blue, I hope it's somewhere in the big leagues. He deserves it.
Yep. He's so close. He's right. I mean, he's major league ready. Someone should pick him up, or the Dodgers should put him on the darn roster. Okay, well, that's Drew Avans. Our next player, Jonny DeLuca, got a cup of coffee with the Dodgers, and in my opinion, he shined before he got hurt. Steve, what are your thoughts on local boy Jonny DeLuca, Thousand Oaks?
Yeah, no, I mean, my thoughts on DeLuca are very similar to my thoughts on Drew Avans. Obviously, DeLuca got a cup of coffee with the Dodgers. I mean, yeah, as you said, you know, you hit 262 in the big leagues in your first 42 at bats. Things are going pretty good. Had a couple bombs, had 19 bombs, you know, combined. And it's just, he's 25. It's kind of one of those situations too, where it's go time. God, there's so many guys that you root for there's only so many spots on the 40-man or on the 25. So, yeah, I mean, great pop.
Yeah.
I think he's, listed on the center fielder thing, but I think he can play any of the outfield positions. But,
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
know, yeah, I mean, he's a guy I'm rooting for, a guy I've interviewed a couple times. Yeah, I mean, I love Jonny DeLuca, but yeah, I think it's time for him to shine. I hope he gets the opportunity. I'm going to sound like a broken record on these
Yeah.
first two guys. Sorry about that.
No, they're very similar, except one's a lefty, one's a righty. Interesting note, Baseball America did have Jonny DeLuca as the best athlete in the system, which not surprising. I mean, he was a track star.
Yeah.
If he in college, he was known on the baseball field as a base stealer with very little pop, and he's developed so well. If you look at in 2019, in 99 at bats, 1 home run, but then in 2022, 22 home runs and 387 at bats, including a little bit of time at Rancho, but that was only 57 games, but 15 home runs there, and he just kind of tore it up, and again, just kind of vanished. It was that terrible season where they were, putting us in the stands, and so I didn't get a chance to meet him until this last year in the Dodgers locker room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he's a lot of people liked him. Some people say, oh, he could be a right-handed platoon option with Jason Hayward in right field. And I'm just like, how about we not sign Jason Hayward and let Jonny DeLuca and some of the other guys get a chance than, some guy that's going to go out there and kind of, be okay, be a good dude and all that. But I want some upside. And I think DeLuca and some of these other guys have some upside.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are kind of biased and kind of
Yes.
prospect huggers. So yeah, I share your sentiment. I'd rather see Jonny DeLuca in more of a role. Getting, if he gets 450 at bats in the big leagues, I think he's going to hit 25 home runs. I think he's going to drive in 75 runs. I think he's going to be a productive player, and that's just in a first full season or close to it in the big leagues. I think he's going to produce. He just needs the opportunity. He needs the at bats. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I think it's time for Jonny DeLuca.
Yeah, and he still retains his rookie status. He did spend a lot of time on the injured list this last year.
Yeah,
I'm just taking a quick look here.
And I think he spent some time the year before too. So
yeah,
you'd like to see him stay healthy and and be there and get that opportunity, whether it's for the Dodgers or somebody else. But I'd rather it be for Los Angeles.
I do too. Yeah, right hamstring, and I do. You have to have a mix. I believe it's great to go, hey, let's get all the superstars. Oh, okay, but they're not Dodgers. So we just watched Corey Seager win a World Series. He's a Dodger. Even Cody Bellinger. These guys at the core, they were developed by the Dodgers, and there's an attachment we have to them. I just want to keep a good mix. And plus, also, you can't have a roster of everyone's 32 and over. You got to go. We got to have some guys that this last season we had our top 2 guys wear out and be done by the end of the year. Get some youth in there a little bit, mix it in. And Jonny DeLuca is one of those guys that, the only thing that'll keep him off the roster is if they go do a Peralta Hayward thing again.
Just one more thing on DeLuca and Avans. I mean, these are guys they play with an edge, and I think you need that on a team, in a clubhouse, in a dugout, on the ball field. Not to say the Dodgers don't have that currently, but I like the edge that these guys play with, and that's something that's not in the analytics or the stats or anything. You'd have to have seen them play for quite some time.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the old eye of the tiger. You got to be. These guys are hungry, and if you're making 25 to 30 million, maybe sometimes you're going, well, how, these guys work hard, but the edge. And it's tough I would think it would be tough to have that edge making 25 million to 30 million a year, but
let's find out.
Yeah, exactly. Let's find out. That would be wonderful. All right. So Jonny DeLuca, I really do predict that he is on the opening day roster. All right. Our next player to take a look at is the fastest man in the Dodgers organization. We are going to change our name to Dodgers 2090 to adjust to Kendall George's grade 90 speed. He is super fast. Steve, you got a good glimpse of him. I did too. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the obvious speed, which is a fantastic tool, I think he's another one of those. I wouldn't say he's a prototypical leadoff hitter because maybe he doesn't take as many pitches as like an old school prototypical leadoff hitter does, but he's got a very simple approach at the plate. Just bat the ball. He's trying to hit a line drive right back through the box, and he does that quite often. And of course, he's got the bunt tool as well, which, for us old heads, we love seeing that kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe I just speak for me on that, but so he can do some different things for you. And he's one of the teenagers on this list. There's 4 teenagers on this list. I think Kendall George is just 19.
Yeah, just turned 19.
Yeah.
From Humble, Texas.
Yes, sir. And I believe he is a humble dude. I got a chance to interview him a couple times and chat with him there at Rancho this year. He only had 100 bats, so a small sample size, but at least for Rancho, and I think he hit 370. And he got on base. He got some stolen bases, so he was fun to watch. He's going to be somebody to keep an eye on if he develops the way that I think he should. I think he's going to be a big league center fielder, but still a few years off.
Yeah. And with the rule changes, which I'm old school, I despise the rule changes of the limited pickoffs and things like that. Yeah. But if you're going to play baseball, you play within the rules that you're given. Sure. They've taken a lot of the shifting away, and they've enabled stolen bases. And this is a guy that you can use. I mean, we saw during the season the Diamondbacks kind of run crazy on people, and it worked for them quite well, having some young guys. Now, like you said, Kendall's a ways away, but boy, was he fun to watch. I think we do get to see him hopefully at the beginning at Rancho, but I think he goes to Great Lakes pretty quick. I was there basically when he kind of stole a game at the end of it, just with his wheels.
Yeah.
It was something that no one else could have done. We've seen fast guys in the organization. We had Jaron Kendall. We have Jake Vogel. Those guys fly.
Yeah.
But Kendall George has an extra gear, and I like bringing a lot of tools to the table instead of one, which is hit home run.
Yeah.
It's nice to go, okay, this guy is going to try to get on base. If he gets on first, it's like a double because he's gonna steal. I mean, this is the guy that I would think Dave Roberts would go, hey, that's me.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think Kendall George has the potential with the current rules in baseball to steal over 75 bases in a season at the big league level. Yes. I mean, there was something else I was going to say about him too, but I have forgotten. Oh, I was going to say, I can't believe the catcher threw down to second on, I know what play you're talking about. And he was able to waltz home from third. I couldn't believe they threw down on the double steal, but anyways, that's
Yeah, someone didn't do their scouting report,
right? Or didn't give the fastest guy in the league. But
when I used to coach kids and I had that situation, I just go to the catcher, and I didn't care who saw. I just went,
right.
We're not throwing. Just
Hold
don't. Yeah. let him have it. But yeah, it's exciting to have a player like that. We haven't had a lot of them come through, especially, because he is making a lot of contact.
Yeah.
Overall, like you said, 370 batting average, a 458 on base percentage. I'm not worried about the slug. He hit some. He only hit doubles. I'm surprised he didn't have a triple. I think some triples are definitely going to come. I'm going to say he's going to have 7 to 10 next year. Just taking some of those doubles and making them triples. But
well, and to be honest, I mean, 17 stolen bases. He was caught 6 times, but I would say he was actually tentative on the base paths for the first 2 weeks that he was at Rancho. He was kind of easing into it, and kind of how we say in basketball, just kind of letting the game come to him. And so there was some situations where I was like, oh, he could have taken an extra base there, but I think he just wanted to kind of ease in, not making mistakes. He was still playing aggressive, but definitely a little more conservative than I thought he should have been for his speed. But then he kind of picked up the pace there those last few weeks.
Yeah, bringing that the extra confidence. And I mean, he's 18, coming into a situation right out of high school. And just going
right. Yeah.
And you've got a legend as your manager in John Shoemaker, and you've got Dodger personnel coming through all the time. Sometimes even assistant general managers and GMs coming through sometimes.
Sure.
So just all sorts of stuff happening with that. But be very excited about Kendall George, folks. If you collect baseball cards and all that, go get the Bowman's blah 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 of him. I just think he's exciting and a very interesting prospect. And like I said, he's very unique for the Dodgers. He's actually trying to get on base and not just hit the ball over someone's head. He's trying to hit it past him. All right, so that is Kendall George. All right, our next guy is somebody that he's new to both of us. We will admit that. Arnaldo Lantigua. He was signed as an international free agent this last year. He was ranked number 23 by MLB Pipeline. So that's kind of cool. What made me also notice him before that was I saw 7 home runs and 99 at-bats. And then I'm going to steal a quote from MLB Pipeline. They said, Lantigua's ability to make consistent contact and hit for power stood out for most scouts as he clocked exit velocities, I don't say velos, over 100 miles per hour in batting practice and game. So, an interesting guy. I really don't have much more than that for him. We could take a quick look at his numbers. Only 222, but he, like I said, 7 home runs and 99 at bats. I like it. The slug is up there. But like probably most young guys, 29 strikeouts and 26 or 99 at bats also. So any thoughts on him, Steve?
No, I mean, a little bit of power. I haven't seen him play yet. Read the same things you've read, but I'll be excited to see him. Hopefully we'll see him at spring training before he makes his way. Not sure he'll be at Rancho to start off the season, since obviously only 99 at bats last year and only 17 years old. 9 of the 11 players on our list are 22 or younger, and this is the youngest on our list. So a whole bunch of potential, but I can't say anything else because I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, I couldn't even find much video on him. So, all right. So that is, I'm going to say it one more time just so we can get it down. Arnaldo Lantigua, and we're probably wrong. But that's Arnaldo. Our next guy, get ready, folks. Mairoshendrick Martinus, 18 years old. They have him down as a shortstop, but he played more games in center field than shortstop, so I listed him as a center fielder. But he did, I think it was 29 games at shortstop and 29 games in center field, 14 at shortstop. I think it was something like that.
Okay.
But I've actually heard of him a little bit, but not a ton. One of the things I did note, despite the fact he played more games in the outfield, the Baseball America guy said he has the best infield arm of all Dodgers prospects. I also read he's built like a house. Has him as 6'3", 161. I got a feeling that has changed. Some of these guys, that's what they weighed when they were, 16 or something like that. He's from Curacao, Kenley Jansen territory.
Yeah, the Dutch.
Yes.
Territories there.
Yeah. So we get, he's familiar. That's a familiar ground for the Dodgers. Any thoughts on him? I know we've.
Yeah. No, I mean,
ahead.
just he's athletic. He's at shortstop and center field, so he's good defensively. They have some sort of confidence in him to put him in two of the three, I'd argue, most important defensive positions on the field, in shortstop and center field. So looking at the numbers, not a lot to look at just yet. Just 18 years old. So again, a whole bunch of promise, a whole bunch of potential, and looking forward to seeing more from this player.
Yeah. Mairoshendrick Martinus.
That's why I said this player. Yeah.
I folks, I had the name hidden from him, and it's a tough one. So that's Mr. Martinez.
Listen. I just did 5 college basketball broadcasts in the last 3 days. So I'm not here to pronounce any words that I can't pronounce already. So my apologies.
Yeah, Steve is one of the hardest working men in broadcasting, doing at Cal Baptist. Correct.
Yeah, California Baptist. I'll probably end up doing a few games at UC Riverside, like I've done the last 5 years. But going to the crosstown rivals and doing some games there, and really, I mean, anybody at this point who wants me to do a college basketball game for them, I'm there, because I've been watching like parts of 10 to 15 basketball games a day, just trying to get it all locked in. Doing color is a whole nother animal. Play by play, you have to know stuff, but color analyst, you got to be right.
So folks, if you have any basketball games that you need to have broadcast, hit him up at Hot Stove Baseball. He will be he's got his ear. He'll listen, that's for sure. Pay for his ticket, get him some steak and eggs, and he'll be there for you.
That's all I need.
All right. So that's Mr. Martinez in a nutshell. All right. Our next player is 2023 draftee Sam Mongelli. I think he was the first of the draft picks that I actually met. He went to Sacred Heart College. I'm not even sure where that is. But so both, it's always fun when the new draftees come in. And so we saw a few of them. We just talked about Kendall George, and Sam's another one. And, some would say, well, why isn't he at shortstop? Well, he could have been a shortstop, but he played more games in center field than anywhere else. Steven, have at it with Mr. Mongelli.
I mean, versatile player. We're talking about him in the center field list here, but I mean, he played all 3 outfield positions in Rancho. He played shortstop and second base. So, I mean, you can put him everywhere. Again, being in the middle of the diamond, very important defensively. Small sample size, though, just 31 games, 94 at bats, decent batting average, was getting on base a pretty good clip. A tough guy, and a guy that, in talking with his hitting coach, Dylan, I always forget how to say Dylan's last name. I'm so sorry, Dylan. Nashatka. Anyways, he had a lot of confidence in the dude, and so talking to his hitting coach about him, really opened my eyes. But it's hard, and that's probably why Mongelli played so many positions. I mean, you come in, if you're looking to play center field, well, the top draft pick from last year also plays center field. So, Kendall George got the majority of those reps, but Mongelli definitely showed his value in being anywhere that Shu asked him to be on the field.
Yeah. Plus they had Jordan Thompson also at shortstop.
Yep.
So they already had existing guys like Jose Izada, Wilman Diaz, Rain Doncon. So much talent.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, Mongelli, I'd love that you spoke with Dylan about him, because these guys, they come out of high school or college, and sometimes these coaches are going to tear them all the way down and bring them back up. That's what they did with James Outman.
Yeah.
And so really it comes down to, is the player willing to commit to what the coaches have to say and what they want to do. And so that's probably what Sam and quite a few others are going to go through. But it'll pay off if they stick with it. And the Dodgers they're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, some guy had a thing, didn't hit 350. Well, because they know that they're working on things.
Sure.
It's good to win ball games, but the main job is to develop these players. And so sometimes, it's on the go, right? It's all on the job. It's like, okay, we're working on some stuff, but you're also going to play tonight. And so your swing is halfway torn apart, but go ahead and play. So it's rough, but I liked what I saw from Sam. It's the Dodger thing to have these guys versatile. It smells of Chris Taylor type, Kike Hernandez. Those guys have made a good living out of being able to play a lot of positions and hit the ball. And so I think there's some power that Sam has. I think in college he had some pop. So it'll come. So I'm excited to see him. We'll probably see him a little bit at the beginning of the year at Rancho, so get out there early to see players like Sam and Kendall George, because they're going to be heading to Great Lakes probably within the first 2 months, maybe 3. So that's anything further thoughts on Sam?
Yeah, I talked to him a bunch. Love the guy. Real personable. Telling me stuff about his pops, just a real good dude. And I don't know if you can see in the video, if you got the video playing on this, but I showed some kind of behind the scenes of me and Sam's interaction kind of before our interview, and just you can kind of tell what a good dude he is. So just in that little interaction, even though there's no sound on it or anything, but you can kind of tell body language like I can. You can just tell this is a good dude, and I'm rooting for Sam Mongelli.
Yeah, I just noticed this because I saw him get hit a couple times. He got hit 6 times in 108 plate appearances with Rancho. So
yeah, and in this video, I think I showed him getting plunked too at the end of it. So yeah. I mean, he was getting on base, and and definitely he would do it any way he could, and getting hit was one of the ways, kind of like a Tim Locastro in that respect.
T-Lo, yeah. I think he just had a kid, Timmy Lowe. I think I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw it
on Instagram. I love Timmy. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Former Dodger great. One of the previous holder of the fastest guy in the organization. That's for sure. So that's Sam Mongelli. Again, just a guy that just keep your eye on him. I think he's going to be one that we're going to be excited about coming up, and we're going to see a lot of progress with him. All right, our next guy is Chris Newell, a 2022 draftee in the 13th round out of Virginia. I think that means he played with Jake Geloff in Virginia. They were at Virginia together. They never played together last year with Rancho, but yeah, Chris was a guy that I really hadn't paid much attention to. Saw him in spring training, just a really quiet guy, goes about his business. Big guy though,
yeah,
and very athletic.
It's like a linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's a big guy with some speed. You could see he had 15 stolen bases. So yeah, if you want to dig into Chris Newell, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, as far as the 11 players we're talking about, Newell led them all with home runs last season, 21 and 312 at bats. Believe though he got hurt sometime after his promotion, going from Rancho up to Great Lakes. I kind of lost track of his season a little bit, but when I was checking out Great Lakes in the playoffs, I don't think he was playing. Yeah, you probably got the information.
He
right
missed
there.
a lot of time. He really did. He missed a lot of time.
But he's got a nice smooth swing.
Yes.
Stays through the zone for a while, a little extra there, and so he makes contact. Obviously he strikes out a lot. Everybody does in the minor leagues. Not too worried about that. It's just one of those things. But he hits the baseball hard. He puts a really good swing on it, and he has really good at bats. And I don't think I've said that about the other guys, and not that they don't have really good at bats. It's just something I haven't been pointing out. But Newell has solid at bats. He has a plan up there, so he's fun to watch. And yeah, like you said, he's a real quiet dude, just about his business.
Yeah. I barely got many words out of him, but that's okay, because he definitely at Rancho he let his bat do the talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of ignore his Great Lakes because it was interrupted so quick with injury, and he was out. He missed like a month and a half of time. Yeah. And that was twice. So it was like, a month, and he missed another few weeks after that. Kind of a mess for him. But at Rancho, he crushed it. Yeah, there were a lot of strikeouts, but there's also, he does get on base still. He does walk. And so that shows something about the process. I'm not, he's definitely a different bird than like Max Muncy, but Max Muncy, yeah, he definitely strikes out a lot, but he also walks 95 to 100 times a season. And so it's like, well, there's something going on there. And Max's plan is to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm not sure where, totally what he is, but he sure was hitting the ball out of the park last year. So strong guy, still a really good athlete, stole some bases. He had 15 steals last year.
Yeah.
Played a good center field. He's a legit center fielder too, at least from what I saw. So he's a guy that's kind of started to creep into those prospect lists. Not too bad for a 13th round pick. And a guy that's not tooting his own horn at all. But he just became a star on the Quakes.
I think he's developing well. I think that's, if you were really able to get Chris to talk a lot, I think that's what he expects from himself. And so, you gotta see the success. You got to envision success before it comes. And I think that's happening with Chris. And I hope for him to have a healthy, whatever year, 24 next year. Oh my gosh.
I know, it's coming fast, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, but yeah, I hope he has a healthy 2024 and is able to just crush and develop and see how far he can get up into the, maybe Tulsa, maybe OKC. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would I definitely see Tulsa for him at some point, probably earlier in the season. Yeah, that injury, that really dang it. Cost him. Oh, that is baseball though. It does happen.
Yeah, definitely. Sports.
Yeah, it's the sports.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's Chris Newell. Our next player is one of the highest ranked Dodgers prospects in the system. Andy Paez, still only 22.
Well, not for long. In 2 weeks, he's going to turn 23. But yeah, it seems like, he's been with the Dodgers for quite a while. I remember watching him in Ogden. So we haven't had Ogden for a few years. So it seems like he should be older at this point. But yeah, he's still just on the verge of 23 at this point.
Yeah, and he was a guy, that last year it seemed like he was making some adjustments. I know his season was he got promoted to AAA, and was it, first game he got hurt.
Yeah,
just brutal. But if you look at his previous numbers, we'll just take, Tulsa in 2022, 140 Ks and 487 at bats. That's a lot. I think we can all say that's
Sure.
quite a bit. But it looks like the ratio went down a little bit, 34 strikeouts in 112 at bats, but also batting average was higher. On base was a lot higher. I mean, geez, 277 and 277, and then at a 425. That's a lot of walks.
Yeah.
So something really started to click with him. I think he's one of those guys that has he's just powerful. The bat is super powerful and the arm is super powerful. Kind of like Ramos. Jose Ramos and him are similar, and we'll talk about Jose coming up pretty soon. But he's very highly ranked, coming off, and he's 40-man. He is on the 40-man. He was put on it last year. And it was such a disappointment when he went down.
Yeah.
Just, that's a guy, I'm like DeLuca. I want to see this guy get a shot. And he might really be good.
He's uber talented, and like you said, I mean, he's got like this explosive strength. Young explosive strength that I remember when I had. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, boy, the injury derailed his season last year, obviously. But it was. You're talking about the the decrease in strikeouts, the increase in the average, and the on base percentage. I mean, he's developing, and that's what the Dodgers do. They draft well. They're gonna develop you, and we were seeing that. And then, being 20, 21, 22 up in Double-A. I mean, that's that's moving right along. And then that season he had in 22, that was pretty good numbers. Yeah, he struck out a lot, but I mean, the dude's trying to hit the ball hard. You're gonna strike out. You're in the minors, and we've talked about this before. I mean, every single pitch is I mean, you're on display for everybody, all the teams, that can watch that video, which is all the teams.
Yeah. The explosiveness, because I've been close to him, in proximity and everything, and he's not imposing, but like the explosive power is you know it when you see it. The bat speed is really good, and I think there's some highlights out there on the internet machine about with his arm. I'm super excited about him. I don't know if you recall, he was supposed to be traded.
To the Angels.
With Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling for, in the whole Mookie Betts thing. Thank you, Artie Moreno. First of all, we got to keep Jock because he was a World Series hero in 2020. And now we still have Andy Paez and the other guy, the guy they're supposed to get, I can't remember, but he was supposed to actually go to the Red Sox. Strip told me that. Just they were trying to make that trade, but since that trade fell apart, Jeter Downs was sent to the Red Sox. And Jeter, Jeter Downs, friend of the show, also. I think he's with Nationals now.
Yeah, I think so. That was last time I saw where he was. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's in AAA again, but
I told you I've been studying college basketball, dude. Leave me alone.
I know. Well, I heard maybe the Jeter Downs gonna play a little college basketball. I don't know.
Oh, there we go. Well, now I'll study up on Jeter Downs' his moves in the post.
I bet Chris Newell is probably a good basketball player.
I bet you a lot of these dudes are good basketball players. Yeah. Baseball players are pretty good athletes. I know people sometimes joke that they're not, and like John Kruk and stuff like that. And, but yeah, I bet you a lot of these center fielders on this list are real good at a lot of other sports, especially a sport like basketball.
Exactly. So that's Andy Paez. I think he debuts in 2024 at some point. So that's that.
Hope he starts healthy.
Yes, it's all about the health. And we're on repeat with some of these players, but that's just, it is baseball. It's really his first extensive time being out. So hopefully that doesn't hinder him, and he's rehab, because his shoulders are nasty.
Yeah.
I think it is his right one, but I'm not positive. So no one quote me on that, please. Yeah, there's Andy Paez. All right, our next guy is probably one that you haven't heard of, but you're going to hear a lot of him soon. His name is Eduardo Quintero from Venezuela. Another guy that's 18 years old. He doesn't turn 19 until September. And he was in the Dominican Summer League on Team Batista. I think that Team Batista they were amazing. They barely lost all year. They just kind of steamrolled everybody. But this young man, in 170 at-bats, had 5 home runs, 7 triples, 15 doubles. That's video game numbers. 42 RBIs, again, 170 at-bats. That team was really good. 32 walks, 34 Ks. So that's
great.
Yeah, for playing at 17 years old, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
22 stolen bases. 300. Why am I saying 359? A 359 batting average. 472 on base percentage. 618 slug. Man, if I'm the Brewers and I'm going, you want Corbin Burns? I want this wild card right there. And if I'm the Dodgers, I'm going, no, I'm not so sure.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that last point. If I'm the Brewers, I probably want somebody a little more closer to major league ready, although
it'll be a mix.
This is a very, very good prospect in the making. Yeah, his numbers, video game, like 105 total bases and 170 at-bats. I mean, 7 stolen base, or excuse me, 7 triples in the 22 stolen bases. So he's definitely, he's got a lot of tools. Looking at the stats, I haven't seen the man play just yet, so that's all I really got for you on Eduardo.
I've seen some sketchy video. Josh Thomas over at Dodgers Digest has had some tweets about him. So I think that's a guy that I think that's the first time I heard about him was from Josh. So credit to Josh Thomas from Dodgers Digest. Good, really good dude. Still waiting to meet him in person, but that'll happen this year.
I don't think he exists.
I know.
I don't think he exists in real life.
Yeah, I think maybe all those Dodgers Digest are that way. I've interacted with all of them, but never met any of them in person.
I think they're the same way. Yeah,
they've been good. They've been good. They've been really good to me. And as prospect guys, we're all in this together. But
right,
Eduardo Quintero, again, get your baseball cards if you collect. I think we'll see him in Arizona Summer League, so maybe he will be at spring training this year.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I'm going to go sometime probably between March 9th and March 16th, and Trinidad might come with us for a little bit of that for like 3 days. And so he hablas español.
Yeah.
So we can, great. He can do full interviews in Spanish and all that type of stuff. So good. Definitely would like to get to know this guy, or, and of course the Dodgers you've used, and I've used translators too, quite a bit. And I appreciate that usage. And we'd like this guy, hopefully we get to meet him. But of course it's always, you go to spring training and no one's got their number on until they play those little inter squad games. But it's like,
stock them better on the internet, Tim. Come on, man.
Okay. We'll go hunt him down. We'll have to find more about this young man. I'll try to find some more video of him. And then we can maybe, as we get more information about him, especially as the season gets started next year, we can get more information about some of these guys, M. Martinez, that's as far as I'm going to go. And guys like that. Well, that's part of what we're doing. Right now, we're just introducing you to these guys. take a look at the numbers. If you can find it, people, if you find some video, let us know. We'd like to see more about him too. So that is the possibly fantastic Eduardo Quintero. All right, our next player is a guy we've seen quite a bit, Jose Ramos. I first started hearing about him a lot in 2021. Got to see him come up to Rancho at the end of the season. He was really good during that time. I mean, he came up. He was killing it in the AZL at the time, and then came up to Rancho and was crushing it there too. And then they started him again in 2022 at Rancho. Numbers were down a little bit, but he did earn a promotion to Great Lakes, spent the rest of the year at Great Lakes, and then started 2023 with Tulsa. He's also available in the Rule 5 draft. He's got to be somebody that's intriguing to somebody, because these, just like Andy Paez, very strong, a lot of power, throws, might even have a better arm. I mean, Baseball America said he had the best outfield arm. I'm not quite positive about that. I mean, there's a few guys that have some good ones, like Damon Keith. We've seen throw a lot of guys out, and Andy and Ramos, but this guy's got some definite high skills. What are your thoughts on Jose Ramos?
Oh, I like him. I was gonna say bat flies off of the ball, but boy, I'm tired, Tim. The ball just flies off of his bat. And so, yeah, I mean, Jose, hopefully he's still in the Dodgers organization. He might be too young, going to turn 23 at the new year here. But, I mean, I think that he needs a little bit more seasoning. I think he needs, at least 400 more at-bats. No, maybe 250 more at-bats in the minor leagues. Before he's big league ready, but who knows, a big league team. I mean, back to that Rule 5 draft thing. I mean, somebody might take him a chance and put him in the big leagues and see what he can do. I mean, he's got the talent. I think he needs a little bit more experience, but as far as being in the Dodgers organization, awesome. Should be an OKC at least by the middle part of the year. I won't say, the early part of the year, because who knows how quickly those promotions start trickling in. But I like Jose Ramos a whole lot. And
and one of the things that the Dodgers seem to always do at OKC is they put all those quad A players in there just in case someone gets hurt at the major league level, so they load them up there. But Jose, we'll see him at AAA. There was also last year he was with the Panamanian WBC team, and there was some, he made there was a nice throw. I think he hit a big home run. So very cool things. He got a little spotlight, which was good to see. And so that, those are those exciting things where you go, hey, wait a minute, we know that guy. Look at him go, man. Yep. And so really good to see him do exciting things in the WBC. And he did shine. So people are starting to get to know him a bit, and talent is there. It's just, he needs, if someone drafts him, it probably isn't doing him a favor other than the pocketbook, which is not a bad thing, but it would definitely hinder his career probably a bit. But if he were to get 250 to 400 at bats, especially at AAA, it'll be a good test for him. He's getting close. Like to see a step up a little bit in getting at least a higher on base percentage. He did 19 home runs and 460 at bats. I think there's more there too.
Geez, what do you want from him, Tim?
I want to see him be a big leaguer. I like him, man. He was always one of those guys. You take the pictures, you throw a nice peace sign out, and pose for you and everything. He's just a nice guy.
Yes.
I want these. You want these guys to do well. And Jose, we're rooting for you, just like we're rooting for the rest of these guys. But definitely, Jose is one of the guys that has been a really good dude, and it's fun to watch these guys develop and move up. And so we'll be seeing more of him, definitely in spring training, and then hopefully at OKC as soon as possible. All right. Last but not least, because we did this alphabetically, is 2020 draft pick round 3 out of Newport Beach, Jake Vogel. And so he was supposed to go to UCLA. Instead, the Dodgers threw some money at him. And like most of us, he took it. I don't blame him. And so he got a chance to play. His first 2 years were almost exclusively at Rancho. And then he was promoted, if you recall, the end of 2022, they put him on the playoff roster. And then he, of course, spent the whole year at Great Lakes. Let's see. Let's get some thoughts on Jake Vogel.
Very fast. He led this list of 11 players in stolen bases last season with 28. He's got almost 60 for his career. Dodgers drafted him out of high school, as you mentioned. So they've been going pretty slow with him. I know I talked to him a couple times in Rancho, and I kind of got the sense, he never came out and said it, but he kind of had the sense that, he really wanted to move up faster than he was moving up. His development, it's hard being, like a outfielder, a position player. I don't know. For some reason, I think it's a little bit easier for the pitchers coming out of high school as far as their development. I could be wrong about that, but I think for the position players, the hitters, it takes a little bit longer. So we're seeing that with Jake Vogel. But, numbers getting better this year. Strikeouts still kind of up there, but he was a guy who got an honor this year, and he was put on the Arizona Fall League team. So that's that's a tremendous honor. Although I was looking at the stats midway through, I hadn't seen that he had any stats yet, so I'm not sure how much he played in the Arizona Fall League. But I'm rooting for Jake, local guy, like you said. He's from Huntington Beach. I think he's from Huntington Beach High School. But fast guy, good outfielder. But he's in amongst a whole bunch of real good center fielders. Another dude, he's still 22 or younger.
Yeah, and he can really go get that ball in center field.
Yeah.
I was there. Clayton Kershaw did a rehab start in 2022, and Jake saved an extra base hit for Kersh, and so he got a little extra love from Kersh on the way back to the dugout. Kersh waited for him to, as he came back in the dugout, and made sure to give him thanks and all that. So.
But on the radio broadcast for the Quakes, when you listen to it, one of the promotional calls that Mike Lindskog's doing from the past is that exact play that you're describing. So it's kind of funny. Yeah. It's so
awesome. Yeah. So
it was a great call too by Lindskog. So
yeah, Mike's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like
he's
Mike.
Animated.
He is. Yeah, he gets fired up, and
I wish I could have as much energy as Mike Lindskog, because that guy he's like always going, and right now I kind of feel sleepy. So
yeah. So Jake, a very good defensive outfielder, really can track the ball. The speed's there, just the offense coming around, and I'm sure the coaches are in his head, working with him, trying to figure out the right approach for him. He's still, he's still only 20. He just turned 22. Yeah, he just turned 22.
Yeah.
And, these guys are still going through that, not only is he going through this with, could have been in college instead, but just growing as a man.
Yeah.
As your body's developing, from 18 to 22, everything kind of is different from everyone. So, he's adjusting, and I'm hoping to see him in Double-A. I don't see why not. And just to see if he can keep making progress. I think that's there. It's just,
Tim, just think about this. I mean, if he had gone to college and he was getting drafted, this might be his first year this year, or at the end of last year.
Yes.
So just kind of take that into consideration when you're talking about Jake Vogel. I don't think anybody should lose patience with him as a
Right.
prospect or anything like that, just because he's been in the organization for a little while. I mean, you compare him to some of these other guys on this list who, like Sam Mongelli just came out of college, was
Yeah.
drafted last year. They're about the same age.
Yeah.
I think Vogel's a few months older. Anyways, I mean, so I think from here on out, you're going to see the real Jake Vogel and the development hopefully shine through.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a really good way to look at it. Yeah, because him and Sam are about the same age.
Yeah.
and so yeah. And at the same time, he probably had better coaching with the Dodgers than he may have had in college too.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
all the adjustments that they're working on right now, and like with a lot of players coming out of high school or college, they're going to make adjustments. So that means that he's getting that early versus, some college coaches, especially like with pitchers, they're terrible. They go and burn their arms out. I know Stanford used to have a reputation of frying, Tommy John factory and things like that. They're better than that now. But, these coaches, because they have a different job, their job is to win. It's not to develop players.
Yeah.
The Dodgers' job is to develop players. So they're going to go, I don't care about the 236. What's our progress? And so I see some signs in here, it's in some of these numbers that there's some progress. Which, for his game, get on base, no matter how you get on base, because he may not be the fastest guy anymore, but he's probably second to Kendall George. So that's I still have, like you, I have high hopes for him. Very, very quiet, mellow guy, just just growing up right in front of us. And so yeah, AA for him. Get him going. Get a little more of the batter friendly places, because I don't think Great Lakes is very batter friendly at all. Is my understanding.
No, it's a good pitchers league, but some big ballparks and the ball doesn't fly that well. Probably want to start him off though in Great Lakes and make sure that he finds that success and then move him up to AA. No sense in putting anybody in a position and then having to, demote them for a time, because I think that's going to mess up a psyche more than anything. So I think even as much as Jake Vogel probably wants to start in AA, I think you start him at high A and then let him promote during the year and get that advancement after he finds some success, then roll that along in at Tulsa.
Yeah. So he's really a candidate that we might see a big improvement this year. And that would, yes. And now that would make us happier. So we definitely want to see that. Okay. Well, Stephen, we got through them.
Oh man, thank goodness.
It's a lot of dudes, man. But hey,
yeah, a lot of good dudes.
I know. Any final thoughts on these guys before we end this recording and begin the editing process?
No, I was going to say, I mean, 9 of these players, these 11 players, are 22 or younger. 4 of them are teenagers. There's a lot of growth here. There's obviously the old dudes in Jonny DeLuca and Drew Avans, who I think, the development has already happened and it's time for them to go on. And then on a side topic, I just wanted to throw this out there for Max Muncy. I am available to be your personal trainer and coach, not only diet, just lifestyle. I've lost a lot of weight myself. I think I have a lot of useful information, and I think I can really help. And I love Max Muncy. I don't mean to sound like, I am being derogatory or, I think I'm know more about health and fitness than him. I want to see him be an MVP, and I think I can help him. So that may have just sounded really, really bad, but there it was.
And we're leaving it in.
Good.
No, in the chat we've had on some of our live things, that topic has come up a few times, more than a few times actually. So yeah, but none of these guys need your services right now, at least. They're all younger, they're all in good shape, and just another little quick note. Last year, if we had gone through this series, there would have been a young man named James Outman on this list.
Yeah.
And James Outman is now the starting center fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers, third in the Rookie of the Year voting. And hopefully we get someone like Drew Avans or Jonny DeLuca being able to make a dent. Probably not in center field because center field's kind of taken at the moment. But there's 3 outfield positions. And if they put Mookie Betts at second base like they keep talking about, that means there's two spots open in the outfield. So I'm excited about that for some of these guys. They're ready, but like you said, this group is so young. Man, there's only like what, 4 guys, double A or above, just off the top of my head. Holy smokes!
Yep.
So a lot of talent. This is very, very similar to the shortstops. So those really key positions in the organization it's very backloaded. So you can see that here. And some of these guys might also qualify as shortstops next year when we go through these types of things again.
Right.
So,
Mongelli, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Mongelli, Mr. Martinez. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Eminem. Yes. Oh, man.
Sorry, I shouldn't even say that name. I don't like the rapper Eminem at all. So.
Oh, I was thinking of the candy because.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, remember.
I was actually thinking Mickey Mantle at first, but.
There you go. Or Mairoshendrick Mantle. Remember they called them the Eminem Boys.
Yep.
About that. Little baseball history, folks. Might want to check some of those guys out. Mickey Mantle's one of the greatest center fielders. Speaking of center fielders in baseball history.
Right. This reminds me of a story. I was going to one of the Arizona Complex League games, and they have a media pass, or I didn't even have a ticket. And the guy at the front, old man security guard, real nice guy, says, "Okay, Liz, I tell you what, you don't have a ticket, you don't have a press pass, but I'll let you in if you can answer one trivia question about baseball." I said, "Oh, all right, man. Go ahead, hit me with it." And he said, "What was Mickey Mantle's lifetime career batting average?" I was like, "Ooh, 298. I don't know why. I don't know how it just came up real quick. And I was like, "Yeah, it's 298. And I think it was from like looking at baseball cards or something. I don't know. Somehow I had that like just imprinted in my mind. And the guy looked at me like, "Oh, geez, yeah, go in, dude. Yeah, you know baseball." I just got lucky. I don't know. It just popped into my head right then. But love Mickey Mantle. Oh my gosh.
I was thinking 293, but I need to get that in my head just in case.
Just in case that old man asks you. That way you can get into that ballpark.
Yeah. Hey, look him up, folks. He was amazing, and he would have been even better if he didn't wreck his knee as a young man. But he was one of the greatest of all time. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. They were blessed in New York to have all 3 of those guys at the same time. And then before that, Joe DiMaggio. So, center field is one of my
Ted Williams was better.
But he was a left fielder, right? Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. You go back and you look at those stats.
I agree.
And
he got
Ted
ripped
Williams
off
was the MVP.
in 1941. Absolutely. Oh,
and
he
in
got
that
ripped
year
off.
Lou Burdette or something what the hell? You look at that year, Ted Williams was way above and beyond the MVP. I'm sorry. I'm just getting mad here.
True. It's true. The guy had a
I think the mafia, I think the
406.
media, the mafia didn't like Ted Williams. I don't know what was going on there, man. The splinter.
It was still the same today. You know, almost every one of these national press guys, their favorite team is either the Mets or the Yankees.
Yeah.
You know it.
I know.
You know it. You freaking John Heyman, man, loves his Mets, man. He was so pissed off on Utley. Utley wrecked that guy, man. He was ready to throw Utley in jail.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, baseball hurts, man. Baseball's hard.
Yep.
We need Chase Utley, man. He's up for the Hall of Fame. I hope he gets in. Adrian Beltre's on the ballot too now. So that should be a guy going in.
He's a lock in my mind.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, first year, I think.
Yes, I would. Yeah, he has to be. I looked at the ballot. I think he's the number one guy to go in. So
Yeah. I want
that's
Sheffield to
exciting.
get in too.
I do too.
I know people don't like him or whatever, and nobody's voting for him. It seems like in the couple sample ballots I've seen so far, but he's a Hall of Famer to me.
He had one entry in the Mitchell report, is what it is.
I know,
but you know what? They just voted for David Ortiz, and he was found. He was part of that testing so it's just because they like him.
Yeah, Big Papi, that big old smile, that huge personality. I mean, I like him too. He's got a great personality. You know, you smile at me like that, I'm gonna write good things about you too. I'll probably give you a vote. But
Sheffield.
No, I think Sheffield deserves it.
That bat, just the way he would. That folks, go look up some Gary Sheffield video.
They've seen it. Come on, if they haven't seen Gary Sheffield, they shouldn't even be watching this right now. We're 3 hours into this podcast. If they don't know Gary Sheffield, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I know. Those hardcores, if they're still watching, they definitely know Gary Sheffield.
They definitely know the chef.
But I think I might go pull some up anyway. I used to, when he was on the Padres, for that brief time.
Yeah,
he was, I had a friend. We were able to get front rows, so got to see a lot of Gary Sheffield. And do you remember who the Padres got in return for Gary Sheffield when they traded him to the Marlins?
Oh, the first baseman.
Nope.
No, I can't remember.
Trevor Hoffman.
Oh,
yes. Trevor Hoffman was drafted out of the Reds organization by the Marlins in the expansion draft.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah,
and then
I don't remember
Trevor
him being
Hoffman
in that trade.
was part of the trade for Gary Sheffield.
Who was the player I was thinking? Like,
you're thinking of Crime Dog?
No, a right-handed guy. Anyways,
Lee.
It was Derek Lee, right?
Derek Lee, yeah.
I thought he was in that deal. I don't know. It's late at night and I'm full of college basketball on my mind, and now I'm yelling at viewers. So
that's all right. They don't mind. We fortunately for our audiences, they are hardcore. You got to be hardcore to be following our prospect site, and we definitely appreciate it. So it looks like it's I think we're time to wrap up.
I got to go take a nap or something after all this talking.
I know. Yeah, I have another recording to do tomorrow at noon, so probably got to study some more.
Study.
Yeah, but it's at least baseball. It could be worse. But okay, well, Steve, thank you very much. Any last words, Steve, for our group?
Lobotomy. Tomato. No, I have no final words, my friend. Thank you all for viewing. Thank you all for putting up with me and my delirious rants tonight.
Yeah, but it's part of the charm, man. I really enjoy talking with you, Steve. I think
thanks, Tim.
Bring out the best and I think we feed off each other quite well, almost too much. But hey, that's it for now. That's all for the center fielders. I'm not sure what our next one will be. Just thinking about that. Could be first base, could be second base, could be another outfield position, maybe right field. Got some interesting right fielders, and some of these guys could have been right in the right fielders too. But
sure,
I'm not going to repeat players. So that's it for now. For the rest of you, Stephen, happy Thanksgiving.
Too, buddy.
And we will see each other soon. Spring training is just around the corner. The winter meetings are less than 2 weeks away. So be ready, folks. Rule 5 draft, all that good stuff's coming up. We thank you again, everybody, for subscribing, watching, liking, all those good things, commenting. We appreciate all that. So thank you very much. For Dodgers 2080, this is Steve Douglas of Hot Stove Baseball and Tim Rogers, Dodgers 2080, signing off. Thank you.